Up on the hill where that white house is, right on the peak, was opposite the entry point that these young gentlemen made their way down an old bush track down onto the cliff edge. His mates went home, got 20, 30 metres of rope to try to rescue him, and an hour later they decided this isn't for us, so let's ring the emergency services and let's get everyone coming. So I arrived on scene around 7:30, got the boat in the water fairly quickly with Reece Dodds, a call-out member from Cape Walk Surf Club, and tried to do an IRB pickup, but the surf was just increasing, the daylight was disappearing very quickly. It's someone that I've trained before. We use him as a subject matter expert in the search and rescue courses anyway. He's got a gold medallion, so he's very fit, knows his skill set, knows what he can and can't do, and that he's been visiting this beach his entire life.
Call out team SMS on my phone, and I responded to that because living quite close I can get here very quickly, and I have a go bag at home with my wetsuit and fins and socks, all the sort of gear that I'd need if I was getting in water for a call out. Nathan had his communications open with the SurfCom guys, and they sort of advised that we'd only had a short window to action anything if we were going to do anything. So because we couldn't get the duck in there, I made the decision, because I was suited up and I had the gear and I'm pretty familiar with that area and the banks and the water, that I could be in there with the kid and hopefully swimming back out to the boat. So I tried to swim out. Took us probably 4 or 5 attempts with some big heavy sets coming through, and just kept pushing us back into the rock wall. And the kid was quite exhausted. He'd already been in the water for over an hour, and I realised I was just not going to get him.
It was difficult to leave him there, but I had all confidence that it would be a successful outcome, even though the conditions were actually getting worse.
I didn't anticipate being in there for more than an hour. I think we were in there for about an hour 20 before we actually got pulled into a pretty hairy spot in between the rock wall and the rock bommy, and the rescue tubes ropes snagged on a submerged rock, and I realised that might actually give me an opportunity to climb up on top of that bommy. Had we not gone up, we would have gone into a very, very dangerous washing machine-like spot in between the rock. His emotions sort of carried through to me. I felt relieved to get him up there, both safely, and that's when I signalled to the guys up on top of the headland, the police and the ambos and the rest of our call-out team. Having that training really helped give me the sort of self-confidence that I needed to stick with the kid and reassure him, keep him calm throughout that hour and a half long ordeal. There was a time, because I have my smartwatch on my wrist, I got a message from my wife when we were up on top of the rock after I'd got the kid out on top of the rock, and I messaged, "We're okay now," like from my watch. I said, "We're okay now, we'll be back on land soon." And the message I got back was, "You weren't okay? What do you mean? You're in the water?" And because I couldn't respond properly, I waited till we were back on dry land, and I gave her a call and reassured her that everything was okay. Having a call-out team that's familiar with the area and familiar with going into the water, and being able to pull someone out or help them if needed, I think that is absolutely paramount. You need that.
We've got comments from other agencies constantly at all of the major incidents we go to that we have very high skill sets and experience within this region.
We've got guys on the call-out team who are really, really good with communications and organising, and without people like that, like even that rescue in March, I don't think it would have been successful if I didn't have my colleagues up on the headland with spotlights, advising the police where to shine the spotlights, because if I didn't have light, I wouldn't have been able to see what was coming at me, the sets coming, and I wouldn't have been able to keep an eye on the kid. So having a call-out team that is diverse it's very important.
The next day at school, the patient was an ex-student of mine, so rocked up to school and broke down into tears in my office, and then he had some of his mates as well, so took the day off TAFE to come and visit to say, "Hey, I'm all right. If we weren't in the water, he wouldn't be here today." That was how treacherous it ended up being right towards the end.